The Toyota Prado is one of the most sought after cars in the Kenyan market. You remember when the 65 was introduced to the Kenyan market? You remember when the Probox was introduced in the Kenyan market? And also, I don't know if you remember when the Toyota Harrier was introduced in the Kenyan market. That is how the Toyota Prado was introduced in the Kenyan market, and it has taken this market by storm because it's everyone, if not everyone, owns a Toyota Prado. But the beauty of owning this car is that it comes with a lot of pros, and at the same time, something that has good pros also has some one or two cons. But be it as it may, today I'm going to take you round the trim levels, the grading of the Toyota Prado. I know you've heard of the TX, TXL, I don't know, TZ, TZG, but do you understand what they stand for and the impact it has on you, the buyer? That is what we are doing today, courtesy of Topcar Kenya. We will be using this 2017 model of the TX Toyota Prado as an example, explaining the trim levels of the Toyota Prado we have not only in Kenya but across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Abel, and this is Topcar Kenya, where we normally say you get the right car at the right price and, of course, in the right place. Now, there are several grades of the Toyota Prado. I believe you've seen on the road. You've heard of the TX, TXL, you've heard of the TZ, TZG, you've heard of the VX, VXL, and also I believe you've heard of the GX and the GXL. But what do those trim levels mean? What do they signify? And is there a price variation? And of course, when it comes to off-road capability, when it comes to acceleration and fuel consumption, is there any impact when you pick one grade over the other? What you know more? Topcar Kenya is here to elaborate more on the different trim levels of the Toyota Prado. Now, starting with the Japan market, we do have the TX and the TXL. Lucky enough, the car we have in front here is a 2017 model of the TX. Now, the TX was largely produced in the Japan market, of course. They have been exported all over the world, but the TX is the lowest grade of the Toyota Prado that is based in Japan. Now, the TX does not have a spare wheel mounted on the tailgate, but the spare wheel is mounted underneath the vehicle down over here. Now, the TXL is the highest grade or the second grade that follows this TX. Now, you might be asking what's the difference between the TX and the TXL? Is that the TXL is the highest grade of the TX. There are certain specs that the TXL might have that the TX does not have. For example, the TXL has a sunroof. Some of the TX do not have a sunroof. The TXL might be having heated seats. The TX might not be having heated seats. Those or that is one of the variations that distinguishes between the trim levels of the TX and the TXL. Remember, they are Japan based. Now, moving to the next grade that I know you've probably heard of is the VX and the VXL. Now, the VX and the VXL, of course, they are produced by Toyota, which is based in Japan, but they are manufactured solely for the Australian, the South African, and the Kenyan market. Now, the VXL has the spare wheel mounted on the tailgate, and maybe you might be asking yourself, what's the difference between the VX and the VXL? Now, the VXL is the highest grade of the VX, and the VX is the lowest grade of the Toyota Prado. Now, the VXL has its spare wheel mounted on the tailgate, meaning underneath the vehicle, unlike this TX, it has an extra fuel tank that helps you cover a long distance. And of course, if you love off-roading, it does not impede you from going through extreme terrains. That is the VXL. Remember, I have said the VXL has the spare wheel mounted on the tailgate, unlike this TXL, the 2017 TXL, that has its spare wheel mounted underneath the vehicle, meaning this car does not have an extra fuel tank. So if you want to go for a long distance, the VXL beats the TX. So that's the variation. That is the difference between these two Toyota Prados. Now we've covered the TX and the TXL. We've covered the VX and the VXL. Moving to the next market is the GX and GXL, still produced by the Japanese automakers, that is Toyota, based in Japan. And the GX and the GXL grades are based for the Australian market. And one more grade that they have in the Australian market is the Kakadu. Kakadu is now the luxurious, the best version of the Toyota Prado. The lowest grade is the GX, followed by the GXL, and of course the highest grade being the Kakadu. The variation, remember, as they explained, the difference between the TX and TXL is that the highest grade, that is the Kakadu, might be having luxurious features, luxurious amenities like heated seats, like like heated steering, like a panoramic sunroof, and the lowest grade, GX, TX, or VX, might not be having such kind of features. So another difference is in the pricing. The TX is less expensive compared to the TXL. The VX is less expensive compared to the VXL. The GX is less expensive compared to the GXL because the amenities in and out of the car affects price variation. I don't know if you're together up to that point, but that is the overall differences and similarities of the Toyota Prado, of course, produced by the Japanese automaker Toyota, that has been in the industry for a long time, contributing to its, of course, longevity, durability, and reliability, not only on Kenyan roads, but also uh, other countries in different continents. So I do believe as of now, we now understand the difference between TX, TXL, VX, VXL, GX, GXL, and of course Kakadu, and now going to the TZ and the TZG. Now the TZ and the TZG, of course, are the grades, another grade of the Toyota Prado that is based in Japan. It gives you formidable powers in terms of torque and horsepower, making it formidable when going off-road. Of course, the TZ and the TZG have their spare wheel mounted on the tailgate, meaning they have an extra fuel tank underneath the vehicle, making it store tons of fuel that makes it cover long distance, and also at the same time it helps you in cruising in uneven terrains or in extreme terrains, as the clearance is very high, and it gives you the formidability that the Prado is known for. To paraphrase again what I have said is that in Japan we do have the TX and TXL, and also we do have the TZ and the TZG. In the Australian market we do have the GX, GXL, and Kakadu. In the South African, Kenyan, and Australian market, we do have the VX and the VXL. Of course, when you go to the United Kingdom, they refer to their Toyota Prado as the GS. I believe we've covered all the trim levels of the Toyota Prado. And if you want to understand more about the Toyota Prados, you can visit our website. That is www.topcar.co.ke, and get to know more insights of the Toyota Prado and the variation in terms of pricing, the variation in terms of trim levels, and the variation in terms of performance, fuel economy, and reliability. And of course, you can visit dealer.co.ke to get more specs or more choices of the Toyota Prado. That is from the 2018 version to the 2024 version, which of course is a J250. This is a 150, and of course it builds on the strengths of the J120. My name is Abel, and this has been Topcar Kenya, where we normally say you get the right car at the right price, and of course in the right place. Leave me a comment down over there telling me if you understood the differences or you want me to expound more on the differences. That has been my time. Remember, Topcar is the best car import company in Kenya.